Hello everyone. Today's video is another Q&A video. I'm going to be talking about a couple of questions related to mitochondrial support, low-dose naltrexone, and having a Herx reaction to treating yeast on the skin. As per usual, nothing I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. And just before jumping into the video, if you wouldn't mind taking a quick moment to please like, share, subscribe, and or post a quick comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks in advance for taking a second to do that. So just very conveniently, there were several questions posted on this one particular video that was about, well, another Q&A video, and I'm just going to answer all of them right now in one fell swoop. It was a very convenient setup for a Q&A video. So thank you to everyone who asked these questions. So it says, I'm curious if your patients have ever reported a worsening of symptoms when starting up the mitochondrial support. I'll have to pull up those videos now. I'm fairly certain that is the cause for all my issues. So yeah, I think that there was sort of a preamble there about thiamine, so I'm not sure if you're suggesting that all of your issues are from mitochondrial support, which if they are, I mean, it could happen, I suppose. Be a little bit surprising, but maybe, anyways, not 100% sure about that last part of the comment there, but anyways, I've definitely had patients flare from mitochondrial support. The mitochondrial support that is being referred to here is, I mentioned it in the video that this question was asked from, and so it's my comprehensive mitochondrial support formula that I recommend to patients. I mean, I say mine because I came up with the formula, but I don't make the product. I don't have any financial interest in the product. There's a company called Signature Supplements in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, here in beautiful Canada, that makes the product. So it's a comprehensive blend of nutrients that are most important for the mitochondria. It was designed to be paired with a high-potency multi-nutrient that complements that product. The one that I recommend is made by this company called NFH, which is an acronym for Nutritional Fundamentals of Health. It's a product line or a company that is based out of Quebec here in Canada. And again, I have no financial affiliation with them either. That's just the combination that I use with my patients. There are other good alternatives as well. They're just really cost effective, and that's what I like to recommend. So when I put patients on comprehensive mitochondrial support, I've definitely seen flare-ups from that over time. I always recommend to my patients that they start with a 25% dose, increase the dose every couple of days until they're at the full dose. I mean, there's rare exceptions to that. Sometimes I'll recommend they go up even slower. Sometimes I'll recommend they go up a little bit faster. It's generally very well tolerated, but I almost always recommend building it up gradually. It's pretty rare. I mean, I've seen maybe 10 cases out of the hundreds and hundreds of patients that I've recommended it to of it causing some abdominal upset, like some diarrhea or loose stool, occasionally nausea, but that's usually rectified as long as it's taken with food, which is part of the instructions for dosing it. Some patients don't read that part or they forget and they take it without food, and that can cause cause nausea. But generally, it's really well tolerated. But some patients do get what appear to be excessive detoxification related symptoms. When we're using mitochondrial support formula, the whole intention of it is to support the mitochondria, as the name suggests. And so when we're supporting the mitochondria, it's boosting up the ATP production, i.e. the cellular energy production in all the cells in the body, potentially. I mean, we never know exactly what's happening in the body, but that's what should be happening. And that would include in the hepatocytes, the liver cells. That would also be happening in the nephrons, the functional units in the kidneys. Probably has some impact on the cells that help to regulate the function of the lymphatic system, other parts of our detoxification pathways, and then it could very well increase the rate of extracellular excretion of toxins from various cells in the body, because if they don't have enough energy to kick those toxins to the curb in the first place, it could, once they have enough energy, they might be like, thank goodness we have enough energy to get this garbage out of here. They want to get it out. So patients could definitely have a detoxification reaction from mitochondrial support formula, and I have seen that in patients a number of times. So that's why we start low, build up gradually, and it's generally well tolerated. But some patients can only tolerate a quarter of a dose in total or half a dose in total until maybe enough time passes that they can gradually tolerate a larger dose. So yeah, definitely something to approach with some caution. And yeah, thank you for the question. The next one was actually going to skip that one because another question was, I'm curious if the mitochondrial support product you use is available for purchase by those in the US. So I do have a whole video that's just about the mitochondrial support formula product, saying some of the things I've already said in this video, but then I talk more about some of the ingredients and whatnot. If you go to my YouTube channel, if you're not already watching this on my YouTube channel, and just plug in, my name, mitochondrial support formula, there's a dedicated video on that. So get into more of those details. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the video or not, but so I'll say it again here just in case I didn't. So for folks that are in the US or anywhere, so the company that makes this product, as I said, is called Signature Supplements. They're based out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. They're a special company in that they're a supplement compounding company. So to my understanding, they're able to make products, but they can't sell them for general retail. They can only make them kind of essentially to order for practitioners who will then sell them directly to their patients. And that has to do with how natural health products are registered in Canada. They normally need a natural product number, NPN number, but if they're compounded, they don't need that as long as they're only produced for individual sale to patients. So in other words, Signature Supplements can sell, my clinic or another naturopathic doctor's clinic or a medical doctor's clinic or an acupuncturist clinic or a nutritionist clinic or whoever. They can sell those products to them with the intention that they'll then be individually prescribed to individual patients. So that's how that works. So if a patient from the US wanted to access their products, they can do that, but their clinician would have to contact Signature Supplements and say, I'd like you to drop ship a bottle of mitochondrial support formula to my patient in Kentucky or wherever they're located, and then they would mediate it that way. So a general layperson, a non-clinician cannot contact Signature Supplements and have them send them a bottle. I mean, you can try, but I believe they will say no because those are the rules that kind of surround what they're able to do. So it has to be mediated through a clinician. I'm not a fan of red tape, but that's just the way it is. I didn't make up the rules, and that's my understanding of the situation at hand. That would also be the case for someone in Australia, in Germany, in Canada. You cannot buy Signature Supplements products just directly like online or directly from any storefront because they don't have a storefront. So thank you for that question as well. Next one on here was, can you please post a video using low-dose naltrexone, aka LDN, alongside herbs for treating co-infections? So in the last several months, I posted a video all about LDN. So again, please consider searching my YouTube channel for that if you want to hear more about my thoughts on that. What I say in that video is essentially that I've seen certain benefits from LDN. Many of my patients have been prescribed that in practice, and it can be helpful for immunomodulation. It can be helpful for chronic pain, sometimes helpful for anxiety, sometimes helpful for sleep. And that's generally what I see LDN helping with. In terms of helping with treating co-infections, in my experience and in my opinion, it could be helpful for managing the side effects of co-infections, or the symptoms, I should say, that it can be induced by co-infections because of that immunomodulating, anti-pain mechanism of LDN. But to my understanding, I don't believe that LDN is able to directly kill co-infections, or Lyme for that matter. So anyways, the other video has more details, but I just wanted to quickly address that here because the specific question was asked. The very last question is it possible to herx from killing yeast on the skin? And then in parentheses it says underarm. So if a patient had yeast under their arm, it would be very, very unlikely in my experience to see a herx reaction to that unless the patient had internal yeast that was causing issues as well. Now, I mean, if we want to get really technical here, a herx reaction would be having a flare-up from killing the microbe too quickly. So I suppose that if a patient had yeast on their underarm area, they put on some topical anti-yeast agent, it was killing the yeast too quickly, it could cause that area to blow up a little bit. Like it could cause a flare-up locally, which I suppose would technically be a herx. But I assume the question is more like, could you have a systemic herx, having gastrointestinal issues, headaches, fatigue, that type of thing, joint pain, whatever. I've never seen that before. And I would have a hard time figuring out how that would happen, because like ultimately a herx, to my understanding, is due to excessive amounts of the microbial body parts getting into the circulatory system or interstitial tissues and causing a bunch of inflammation, which just wouldn't happen with a topical issue. But if there's internal yeast as well, it could cause a problem. Thank you so much for the questions. I hope this was of interest, and I will leave it there for now.